to be the man, you gotta beat the man. And I'm saying, woo! You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, wheeling dealing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. Woo! Styling and profiling. Woo! Showtime.
Welcome to Defend the Hustle. Buffalo always keeps it a buck.
I can guarantee you most of the audience is gonna agree with me before they agree with you.
Lock in, because Buffalo is about to
crack your cranium and fertilize your brain.
Go ahead and
right here, right now.
You go ahead.
subscribe and share now.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Buffalo Picker, Defend the Hustle. This is episode number 2 for 2025. Our special guest tonight is Jim the Tech. If you've been on this show before, you should be familiar with Jim. Jim been here. I think we don't have him. This would be your 4th show here.
Yeah, I think so. Third,
4th?
actually. I think third.
Third. Okay, yeah. So, where did Glass City go? Okay, so let me just take him down right quick. All right, so he should be right back. So we're gonna open up the show tonight with Jim. Everyone in the chat should know me, Buffalo Picker, part-time reseller, full-time federal employee and retired military. Tonight is gonna be heavy on IT. Jim pretty much is a entrepreneur on his own tech business, and that's why we always reach out to try to get him in here to talk about future things that are on the horizon for the IT future. And if you got any questions, make sure you write them down. Don't be afraid to ask your questions. There's no stupid question. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that he's gonna be talking about that's gonna be over my head as well. So if you got any questions, put it out there. Even if you have any questions about your own personal computer and things that are going on with your computer, I mean, this is the time to ask it. I mean, this guy's giving out free information. It's not like you got to pick up the phone and get a consultation and then they charge you, $19.99 for just answering your questions or whatever. You can do all that tonight with Jim, fully qualified with the information technology. So we're going to go ahead and open up the floor. Jim, the floor is yours.
How you doing? First of all, I want to thank Buffalo Picker for having me on the show. I love the show. I love the mixture as for the chemistry of what y'all guys put out there, and it's very helpful, man. Even for me being in the tech business, even though I'm not in the reseller business, but I must admit that y'all guys got me a little motivated. I did something back here a few weeks ago, for example, with Best Buys, and got to thinking what y'all guys was talking about and what y'all guys was doing reselling. And so I'm not sure if a lot of people know that for Best Buys, for example, and probably a lot of other companies, they have a section called Open Box. And you can save a ton of money going that route, for example, and just picking up some of the things that y'all guys are doing. I decided to go on the site and just happen to just start looking. And I started doing that pretty much, I think at that time, at 3 or 4 days. And so just not really taking it serious. But, I got to a point where I said, okay, let me see if I can really find something. So I went there, and believe it or not, I found a 55-inch TV for $68. Totally blown away. And start finding some other things for other customers that save a ton of money. For example, find basically a Mac with an M3 chip, believe it or not, for a little bit over $700 for a customer. Right. That quite different as for paying. I think it's like only $1,300 to anywhere from $1,100 to $1,300. So y'all guys, man, motivate me to try to help customers go on that route to be able to save money. So I truly appreciate y'all guys for that, man.
For sure.
So definitely. So I thank you for that. But I will say now, as for the AI, we talked briefly the last 2 times I was here about some of the things that you maybe need to take a look at and be aware of. I know in the last time I was here, one of the things I talked about, the possibility that someone can, we all get spam calls. So you pick up the phone and say, okay, hello, or say something to the person on the end. In some cases, it might not be anybody there. And you just, speak, say, hey, hang up or whatever, but not realizing that your voice can be recorded. I think I said that last time, that I said I can see at some point it being able to use that, and basically con people. And now I said that a lot of times I say things by being in the industry as long as I have, you get a feel of what could happen, you know?
Right. Right.
And one of the things that I said, well, I can see at some point, and I use ADT as a prime example, as of just threw it out there, saying I can see someone at some point using them, saying, hey, I call from ADT about your service, do you want to upgrade, what have you? And I can see at some point a person thinking as a real company, and it's not. I did not realize uh, after that, shortly, probably maybe a month and a half after that, I had a customer got swindled at quite a bit of money by thinking that they was talking to a real real company, and they wasn't, and they
Right.
got a lot of money. Now the thing is that I tell people that I think I also said that most of the things now, banks are not going to give your money back depending on what the situation is, how your money's got taken. And I think that we have to start thinking about that. For example, even with me, sometimes I slip. I'm human. Um, but the thing that happened to me back here a while back, and probably in Atlanta, let me say bring this up first. Back here, I think it's been about 3 months. Uh, Ingles had a swipe on top of their machine, whereas people swiped and got their money taken, not realizing that it wasn't really a Ingles swipe, not realizing that it was a fake, I guess. Um, and I pulled up to a gas pump back here probably about 3 months ago, and I was on the phone with a customer. Usually, I hang up the phone after I get out of the car and pump my gas, but in this case, I'm sitting up here talking to the customer. Whole time I'm pumping gas, I noticed something on the pump, but I really, how it is when you're on the phone. Sometimes you see something, but you really don't pay close attention to it. And that's pretty much the case. So I glanced at it, put the thing back, put the gas handle back, got in my car, drove off. Next morning, I got a charge of 800 and some odd dollars for gas, man. And I drive a small car, and there's no way you can get $800 in that car. But the bank took care of it. My point was, though, I went back to the gas pump. I'm like, something's not quite right. So I go back and I drove around to all the pumps. Then I went to the pump I went to, and I was doggone, they had a skimmer on top of the pump. And the reason why I know that, because that's the only pump that had it. So I go in to see the clerk, tell him what took place. He comes out, takes a look at it. Obviously, he got the police involved. He calls me back a couple of weeks later and tell me that they believe that the person that maybe was doing that was sitting in the car while they was doing it, which is crazy, you know. So my point is to just be very careful out here when you out here using your cards and what have you, especially now with AI. It's a whole different animal now. I don't know if anybody saw this, but one of the things that there's been a lot of developments in the last 6 months. One of the recent ones is that two Harvard students created a program, really, to scan people's faces and get their personal information. Now with AI, now to give you some idea of how big a problem that is when you really think about it. Every person probably in this room of YouTube um, have probably put their face on Facebook, Twitter, and what have you. At some point, put information in certain websites for applications, what have you, not thinking at all that these companies that you put your information on, they server, not thinking that one day they will get hacked. You're not thinking about that when you do all that. Now, think about all the years you've been on the computer. Think about all the time that you put all this information in. Now we move forward. Now they got AI now. It's a different thing compared to a human being trying to get information. Now, the best way to say it, you got AI on your phones coming out, you got AI on your computers, you got AI on cameras. So the best way to look at it is this way. If you use all these products, and now keep in mind I said this because at some point I truly believe if it ain't already happening, it will happen. You will at some point, if you got an AI on your phones and your computers and all this, at some point all these are going to connect, you know. So that means it's so easy for them to pull up information now just from the two Harvard guys. They can pull the information up in a minute and a half, you know, and they're doing that just off a photo or just not so much as photo, but off a picture that's taken in this case through glasses, or you can do it from your cell phone. So imagine that probably another year or 2 years from now, it's going to be a total nightmare when you talk about people's information getting stolen. For example, just like right now, one of the biggest talks now is it's going to affect all the people that have laptops and desktops that has Windows 10 and can't be upgraded. And that's going to be a big problem. I can see that's going to be a bigger issue, not just people going out here buying computers because they had to be buy new computers and upgrade their systems. I think there's going to have a lot of people that's going to sit out here and use the older systems that are not secure, that they have no support. That means that you're not going to get any security updates. And if you're not going to get any security updates to block those holes within the software, then you leave yourself open. And now with AI in the mix, that changes everything compared to when you look at Windows 7 when they stopped supporting it, and also XP, Windows 8. All of that's totally different because AI didn't exist at that time. Now I can guarantee at some point that someone's going to come up with something, and this is just a future thought, that now they're going to go after all these systems that are not updated. I don't have the latest software in reference to operating systems. So I can see that's going to be a huge headache because just like right now, there are still people out here using attempting to use even XP for this right now, but there are still people out here using Windows 7. And so the thing of it is with the AI situation now, from retailers to crooks, from people using, AI using people's voice, making them think that it's a real person. I also believe that at some point that we're going to have to get to a point, and remember I saying this as well, we're probably going to have to come up with keywords to talk to our friends and our neighbors and our family members before we start a conversation. Just a kind of a verification type thing, because at some point you're not even going to realize that you maybe not even talking to a real individual.
Hey, Jim, I got one question before you get too far.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned something about the two Harvard guys that created this program where they can go out in the public with the cell phone and just basically scan your face and can figure out your personal information, where you live, where you work, all that kind of stuff. So do you think the government is going to get control of that, or you think they're going to just be released out to the public?
Well, think of it this way. Right now, for example, Experian has a feature which you can, I think it's like $2 to add on. What it does the same thing basically. Well, in a sense, where it looks out for information of yours that are on sites to try to pull that stuff down. For example, I think it was 2025. I think I started with them maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I was totally blown away when I added that little component onto mine. It pulled up 88 sites the very first time, man. 88 sites. To believe that my information out there is on 88 sites was crazy. And then it even had more than that when it went back and checked the following month. So it does that all the time. Now, will the government get involved? I think they're not going to have a choice, because I can see that this is going to be a big problem. But when you got crooks using AI, it's going to be off the chain. It's how do you control it? I think in the first time I was here, one of the things I brought up, I personally don't think they should have put this out here until they fully got a hand or thought of what all the problems could arise from it. I just think they should have done that first. Because honestly, just me talking, I can see it's going to be a huge problem. Even with me as a technician coming out here telling people the scams they need to watch out for, I still have people that falling for these scams, and some of these people I've been servicing for 10 years, and they still falling for it. So, so this is a whole different animal. This is not a
Right.
human being. So, the thing of it is that, you know, face recognition at some point. I can see them doing something on that side. The crooks using a picture that you maybe have on Facebook or Twitter, trying to unlock something. Who knows? You know what I mean? I can see at some point technology, somebody taking that and going with it. It's just too many avenues right now where AI can pretty much damage somebody's life. And a lot of things like you heard me say before is that you got to take that whole little equation out of your head that what can't happen. I mean, those days are over with.
Yeah.
You
One
know,
other thing, and I'm just asking this because I've seen it and I want to know, have you seen it? Is I was looking at, I don't know if it was TikTok or Instagram, where the guy was showing that they have AI technology now where, a few years ago, if you black something out and then you put it up on the screen and do a video, people couldn't see what was behind the black things that you blacked out, like say your social security number, somebody address, things that you didn't want to be seen on the internet. Now they got a technology where they could take a picture of that, put it through this AI, and it'll remove the black, and you can see exactly what people was trying to hide.
well, I
So,
haven't seen that, but I will say this though. I think because we have put so much information out there, our
right.
social security numbers, our names, our addresses, our relative addresses, we have put it somewhere in a computer the last 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
and the thing is that it's understanding when you put the stuff out there, you can't get it back. You know, and now, if we wind back 20 years, we're probably thinking like, hey man, if we knew this was coming, a lot of us probably wouldn't use computers as much as we do, and probably definitely wouldn't put as much information into it as we have. Um, and so the thing of it is that it's just going so forward. It's just amazing, honestly. Let me back up here. I don't see it as a wow factor now. A lot of this stuff. I think for a lot
Right.
of us techs when we was in the 90s and early 2000s, I call it was a wow effect for a lot of things we start to see because at that time, like with internet speed and what have you, you didn't, you're like, wow, that's something new and didn't really. You was really excited to see it, but it was that wow, you didn't expect it. But now you kind of expect that now. You know, we at this time now where that we kind of expect a lot of this, and we are not taking the time to take a few steps back and say, hey, you know what? Before I punch this button or before I type this in, um, you know, we a lot of us putting our whole life on Facebook, you know, and not realizing how that's going to affect us 2 or 3 years from now. If you
Right.
look back, one of the things I said back here, I think in the last segment, maybe the segment before, now they look at, departments, a lot of these companies now looking at your Facebook post and really deciding if you're going to hire you or not. You might have said something back here 15 years ago. You didn't think it was going to be much or nothing. You just put it out there. Now it might be the one thing that caused you to get fired or not get hired, you know? And so now with AI, it's a whole different animal because companies are not jumping in using that information, that technology to find out a little bit more about you. In some ways, it's going to be a plus, especially when you think about people in those positions that carry around guns, let's call it that, to find out who they really are. I think it's a good thing. But at the same time, you're going to have people out there using it for the wrong purposes.
Right.
I think you remember back here some months ago that AI created a photo, video of this young child, really, and really it wasn't them, but it made the friends and family believe that it was them. So you got to be very careful as for what you put out here now, because if you're not thinking about your future in reference to what could harm you, you need to be thinking about that now. If you
Yeah.
haven't thought about it in the past, this is the time to start doing it
Yeah. I
because
remember a few years ago, I got profiled on Facebook by a person here in Georgia. He was selling some action figures, and I just kind of, made my bid to, make the purchase from him. And then when he looked at my Facebook page and he seen like all that military stuff in there, like, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, just pretty much supporting troops.
Right.
And the guy said that he don't sell to military people.
Wow.
So I was like, this dude on profiled me on Facebook, man, and decided he didn't want to make the sale. Let me go ahead and show the chat what I'm going to give away tonight.
Okay.
I got 2 giveaways. We're going to give them away towards the end of the show. And this is what I have tonight. This is a Captain America versus Thanos set. And also, I'm giving away a Monster High doll. This is Frankie Stein.
Hey, T.
Yeah.
Hey, man, your screen black, man.
My screen is black?
Yeah.
Really?
Your screen been black. I thought you knew it.
No, I didn't. What about now?
It's still black.
Wow. Okay, let me stop this right here. What about now?
Still black, brother.
All right. What about now?
Black.
That's my screen black and my camera. I see myself.
Well, I can't see you, brother.
I can't see you either.
I thought you
You
had
be
it
like that all the time?
Yeah, I thought you had it like that.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So I didn't bother. Yeah.
So did y'all see me at the beginning of the show?
No.
They saying it's not black on their end.
Oh, well, on us, we can't see you, bro. So
yeah, they saying they can see me. I don't know. So
okay, cool.
They roll with it.
Yeah.
Boy, y'all scaring me, man.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, so I'm sorry y'all can't see me, but you know, this pretty much for the audience anyway. But I'm just showing the giveaways tonight. This is the Monster High Frankie Stein. And I also have Thanos, Captain America versus Thanos. These are the 2 giveaways that we'll give towards the end of the show. Okay, so Nana, pretty much everybody in the everybody out there can see me, so that's good. Boy, I was like, how can I fix that? Hey, you gonna really do that? Put your IT skills at work tonight. Like, Jim, man, hey, what I gotta do?
Hey, man, I'm not sure. I got to look at this. I can't. How the best way to say it? I would have to do that behind the scenes to figure out what's going on and what you're clicking on. The best way to say it, man.
I thought
I wish I had a crystal ball to a point, you know. So,
yeah, I thought StreamYard was messing with me, man, because I had already reached out to him and told him that I was going to switch.
Well, you
because
know,
they went up to like $450 something, man. So I was like, that is ridiculous. You know,
you about to sound like one of my customers, man. My customer want to be create magic, man. Just fix it by touching my screen, man.
Hey, Nana said we talking about AI too much, man. AI shutting us down.
Hey, we joking, but who knows, man?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's cool. So so those are the giveaways I'm gonna do tonight, towards the end of the show. And while I'm at it, Jim, you can take a break. We're gonna kind of get into a little resale portion, and then we're gonna come back to you to talk about some more IT information. Also, if you got any questions, put your questions in the chat for Jim. You know, no matter how big or small, we have an IT professional here tonight. So let's try to maximize him by asking the questions, because he can only give us the answer to the questions that we ask. There's only so much information he can just put off the top of his head. So I want to give a shout out to All in One Package for being the first in the chat. That's Miss Buffalo. Shout out to Char F. Char, your Rainbow High Doll is on the way. Nita J, appreciate you coming out. Cheryl, thank you for coming out. Thank you for all your support. Marie, what's going on? Thank you for supporting the channel for all these years. Also, your husband Justin, let him know that I think that's your husband, Justin. I hope I got that right. I spoke to him today. His package is on the way as well. The GI Joe. Who else we got in here? Nana Tank, what's going on, Nana? Thank you for coming out. Swamp P is in the house. Let's see who else we got here. Lil Debbie, thank you for all your support. I think I got everybody. Yeah, I think I got everybody. All right, so let's see. All right, so let's talk a little bit about reselling. I think I took down the see if I can go ahead and. So tonight we're gonna kind of discuss the 49-cent sale. I know quite a few people in the room should know about this sale with Ross. But I just pulled this clip. We're going to play a brief portion of the clip so that you all can kind of get a gist of what we are talking about. See if I can bring it back up. Let's see.
KCL staffers in Richland, Washington, and Austin, Texas have already spotted some of their first 49-cent tags in stores. And get ready, because more of those tags are going to drop later this month, January 27th, according to a Ross clearance schedule that was posted online. I'm going to tell you how you can go about stocking those Ross 49-cent tags. First, most important step is to get our free Crazy Coupon Lady app and sign up for a sale reminder for the Ross 49-cent sale so we can send you an alert when it really gets going. Ross 49-cent clearance technically isn't an official sale, and you won't see signs for it in stores. A lot of deal hunters call it that in reference to the fact that Ross marks certain clearance items down to 49 cents in January. It's actually just part of the Ross year-end clearance sale, which started December 26th and runs all the way through January. Deals drop on Mondays, and the 49-cent tags usually hit at the end of the sale, so get ready that last week of January. Well, there's no official end date to those 49-cent tags. Expect news to spread fast on the first day they start appearing in stores on social media, and for that 49-cent stuff to be gone pretty quickly. And it's worth checking your store now, since yes, one of our staffers already found her 49-cent item, baby socks. And here's me finding a 49-cent shirt in the wild. The shirt was originally $6.99, so that's a 93% discount. Every Ross store is a little different, so if you want to get a feel for where your Ross is going to put those pink, purple tags, it can be a good idea to get a lay of the land. So for example, I'm finding most of them in my store wherever I see these red clearance signs. Anything on the other side of that has a lot of purple tags. And these seasonal end caps to a lot of the items on that shelf had the reduced tags on them as well. Not everything in the clearance sections will be marked down to 49 cents. But last year we found shirts, pet clothing, scrunchies, hair claws, home decor, and a bunch of other items marked down to 49 cents. So
all right, so that's pretty much the gist of the 49-cent sale. I'm sorry about that. Just keep in mind when you're out there, everything that's marked down is not going to just say 49 cents. I mean, it is a lot of things out there, but if you got to look at those tags, it may say $3.49 or $6.49. All that stuff is still part of the 49-cent sale. I remember a couple of years ago, I went in there, I bought probably 6 or 7 pairs of baseball cleats and track shoes on that sale. I probably paid like $2.49 a piece and was selling them on eBay anywhere between $59 and $69. So you definitely want to take advantage of that sale. Don't sleep on it. Pretty sure most resellers try to hit that Ross sale. Last year was so-so. But the couple years before that, I mean, it was right on. It was right. I was basically, I remember one of the sales, and this wasn't a couple years ago. This was like 2019. I found some Michael Vick Nike shoes in there, and they had it for $8.49. and I sold them for $89. So you can definitely find some deals in there. Just make sure you get out there and take a look in your routes. And like she said, they sell pretty much that whole week, so they don't get to mark down everything. It's only most of the time that I've been in those stores, it's only about one or two people in there doing the markdowns, and they just going by section. So sometimes one section could be 2 days, and then another section could be a couple of hours. So, just be patient and, don't bother the associates. Just go in there and take a look for yourself. And, like Nana says, definitely some steals in there. Definitely some steals. Chris, you got anything on that?
Nope.
Okay.
My Ross ain't opened up yet, so.
Yeah, that's right. You said y'all just getting the roast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so definitely take advantage of that. I wanted to show you all that, and also I didn't get a chance today. I just got tied up, but I wanted to go by Ollie's. Ollie's toys was 40% off. It was started out at 33% off after Christmas. Then the next week they went up to 40. So I'm projecting tomorrow they're going to be at 50% off. So you definitely want to take a look at your Ollie's in your location to verify that those toys are 50% off. And those action figures in there, if they are 50% off, you'll be getting action figures for about $4.50. So, you definitely want to take advantage of that because you can't lose at that price. Last year, I cleaned up in Ollie's. I really got a lot of good toys that I sold for this Q4. I'm saying like for $5, and I was selling them for anywhere between $50 and $60 during Q4 because that was the true retail value. So make sure you get in there and take a look. If I find something, and that's another thing too I want to put out there is I appreciate everyone. I said this before last week. I appreciate everyone that helped to get my channel monetized once again. And so moving forward, I will start making more content. I'm going to get out there into the stores. And when I go out, I'm going to take the camera out and just make content, show you all what I be doing out there and, the deals that I be finding. If you take a look at my Buffalo Picker page, you can already see I'm starting to upgrade the photos and things in that page to make it look a little bit more professional. So definitely some changes are coming with that. And again, I want to let you all know that all your time and effort supporting me is definitely appreciated. So if you have any questions for Jim the Tech, go ahead and drop your questions in the chat. No matter how big or small you have an issue with your computer and something that you think, Jim can help you with, drop your question in the chat. Don't leave tonight without asking your question. Jim, you can go ahead and pick it back up, and then we're gonna go into the question, and I got a few questions for you as well. So we're gonna get to that, and then we're gonna get ready to close out the show. So the floor is yours.
Okay. Now, the one thing I want everybody to realize and know, October 14th is a very special date, an important date for all the computer, laptop, and desktop users that are running Windows 10. They will no longer support it. So I've been telling my customers, going back to last year, go ahead and start looking for new units. But at the same time, you don't have to be brand new. You can also look at, like I said, open box units, I said earlier, like from Best Buy. But also, too, the one thing that is going to be, that is very important as well. They're already seeing companies selling units saying they have Windows 11 on it, which it does. The problem is what I'm finding out is that some of these are using, I love to call it bypass software, which software that basically bypasses the check of your computer to see if your computer meets the minimum requirements for Windows 11. So there is software out there that does that. The problem is that for people to go out here buying units, especially used computers, in some cases they're not going to even know that the computer they have doesn't have a true Windows 11 software on it. And it's not illegal to do it. I just personally think that it's just wrong to do it to mislead customers to thinking they got a authentic or genuine 11 PC. And that's the
Right.
problem, because what's going to happen is this. If you have a case where you get a blue screen or something like that where you have to reload the system, that's when you're going to find out that you do not have a true Windows unit. When you go back and try to install Windows 11 on a computer that really doesn't meet the requirements, it's going to tell you that when you try to reload it, or anybody reload it. And that's what I'm finding out now. I had a couple of cases in the last couple of weeks that people have bought computers. I'm not going to, say those stores' name, but they bought the computers, had them basically shipped to their home, had a problem with it. I get there because they got a particular problem. In this case, they had a case where they had an error telling they had no hard drive. And so that just got the unit. Unfortunately, we just passed the 14-day return policy. So
Right.
now likely in this case, the drive was bad. So put the drive in, go to try to reload Windows 11. It didn't allow me to do it simply because, didn't meet the requirements. So now this customer's out of money. And really to a point, it's kind of like a gray area. I don't know how that works in reference to trying to get your money back, but it's really one of those things that's going to be very hard for a lot of people to try to figure out, do they have something genuine or not. In that case, if you worried about that, which is somewhat to be worried, but if you get it from like a store like a Best Buys or something like that, it's great. Now, I will say this: Walmart, people buy computers from Walmart. They're kind of like third party. I had a case where my daughter bought one back here a while back from there. Third party, wasn't Walmart. I think third party from Walmart, of course. It didn't even have a hard drive in it. She calls me up, tells me, say, "Hey, this is not doing this." I told her what to do. Couldn't find it didn't actually have a drive in it. So it's just crazy. So my advice would probably be, I know that biting the bullet on a brand new one is a tough thing, but if you choose to get an open box or refurbished one, get it from a store that's really behind their products, and guarantee that it is what it is. Because other than that, it can be a headache after that return policy. You find out.
So what you suggest, like the top five, if I was going out to, or was advising one of your customers to go out and purchase a laptop for, like, just say for reselling, where you storing all your information, spreadsheets and stuff like that, what would be your top five, being the best?
You talking about reference to software? You talking about the computers?
Yeah, to going out and buying yourself a new laptop.
Okay. Basically, my four is basically Dell, HP, Lenovo, Asus, and just in that order. They are all four, and just based on the number of computers I have worked on in the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
Those four are probably without question. Now, Mac is a whole different animal. I didn't put it in that category because I personally, because it's just a whole different animal. I don't put Mac in the same category as a HP or Dell. There are reasons why for that. Mac makes all that stuff. I mean, Apple. That's a totally different animal. So they stand alone. That's the reason why it's priced the way it's priced. So, but when it comes to PCs and Windows, those are my four. There are some brands out there. I would tell you that if it ain't those four, my advice is you probably want to stay away from them. And I know the price might be great, but I can guarantee at some point you're gonna have a major headache. And you're gonna regret it. And I'm not gonna. I love to call some of the names out of some of the headaches that I've seen people do, despite what I tell them and what I told them. And then months later, they call me up and say, "Jim, this is what I got problem wise." I go out there, and you look at it. You're like, "Hey, this is what's going on. The motherboard is shot or something else." And how the best way to say it? Anytime you get a new unit, of course, it's going to perform, pretty fast when you first get it. The question is, will it perform like that a year later? And that depends on how you're using it and all the specs you have in it. The one thing I will tell you though, if you have an older computer It definitely is probably one of the cheapest routes to get the speed. You probably want to go ahead and put a solid state drive in. A lot of the older computers don't have them. The solid state drives now are really cheap in price. So you can, depends on the size, you can probably find them anywhere in the roughly, depends on if you buy from, online or in a local store. The price is probably going to range, depends on the size, anywhere from about $21 to about $60. That depends on the size drive. But I will tell you that it makes a huge difference in the way it runs. It's going to run fast. It's going to run faster than you actually ever had it when you first got it, because
Right.
you're talking about a drive that doesn't have moving parts. But I also say this too: the drive works great in reference to speed. The one thing is kind of shocking to a lot of us. I hate to say it, that the computer runs really, really fast with it. But I have seen, unfortunately, more computers have problems as for the drive shutting down and totally going out, burning out, than I expected. I think a lot of us on that same boat. They're trying to like, man, this is surprising. But
Right.
there is a solid state chip drive is what I call it, and they got a solid state 2.5 drive, which is the same size as a traditional hard drive in a laptop, for example. And the traditional size solid state drives, I haven't seen any problems with those, at least as of yet. All the ones I've seen having problem, I've changed drive in them. Every last one of them had a chip drive. So if your computer can um, take a 2.5 size drive, I advise you to go that route compared to the chip drive. But for most computers now, laptops don't have that option. There's some that has two bays where you can put in to 2.5 and I call it a chip drive. You can put them in two. You can put both in, or either one of the two. But then at the same time, you got those that only can take that one.
So what
But
is the cost on those types?
same price.
Same
It
price.
depends on the size. It's basically what
Okay.
it comes
We got
down
a
to.
question in the chat too.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna try to swing the conversation towards things that could in the IT field that can work for resellers.
Okay.
Any things on the horizon that we could use to make our job better, more effective.
Gotcha.
So all in one package. Is there any way you can get around not having to subscribe to an AI on your phone, on your iPhone? Once you ask a few questions, a message pop up asking you to subscribe. I'm not. I mean, I don't know exactly. I mean, are you familiar with what she's speaking
Oh, I
of
know what
right
you're
now?
talking. Yeah. On the iPhone, I honestly don't know. I do know on PCs and other devices, of course. Just like the new phone I just got. It will basically ask you. I would assume, and this is an assumption, on the new phone I just got a few days ago, it
Right.
had popped out that question. I can, basically say no. You know what I mean? My pretty much assumption that you can, but that's an assumption on my part. 'Cause I haven't personally seen it, but knowing that the new phone I just purchased and some of the other products I've seen, like computers and what have you, that coming out with them, you can, you should be able to, I should say, and that's like assumption on my part. The AI feature is great, but you just heard me say earlier that the problems I can see going forward with that. I don't want to tell people, I don't want to scare people,
Right.
but I also want them to understand 2 years from now, you could regret that, knowing what we're looking at now, you know. So it's one thing to go on a website and use AI and ask it questions, what have you, or just like we talked about in the last time I was here. There's a site that if you got your life story wrote out, you can upload it and it turns into an AI video, which is doggone great. Because think about it, 100 years from now, you done made a movie yourself that you got your family members you no longer around, but yet you can actually have them viewing it, telling your life story. That's great, but your personal information is a whole different animal. So I take it. I tell people just kind of take a few steps back. Think about what you click on and what you okay in, and think about could that hurt you a year, 2 years from now, even 5 years from now, with this technology that's out now. And you really do have to think about that, regardless if you like it or not. It doesn't really matter. You really truly got to think about it, because what you decide now could truly affect you 3 years from now, and you
Right.
might not be able to undo it. And just being
Right.
honest, because when you think about AI thing, like I said, from phones to computers to cameras, they put it into everything. So imagine if it's a case where it knows everything about you. Matter of fact, Buffalo, I think I told you about a case where in Atlanta they got AI robot dogs now, police
Yeah.
department wise.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
need one.
you know. So think about it. If you got your, think about it this way. Just think for a second. If you got all your information out there connected to these AI from computers to what have you, and now you got an AI robot or AI dog or have you, at some point it's probably tied into this whole AI thing. You're going to have this thing come up to you. It's already know everything about you, and most likely it probably knows what you're thinking. If you remember what I said back here the very first time I was on the show, is that back in I think it was China, if I'm not mistaken, but it's been a while. It's been at least about 9 years ago, where they put AI in their prisons to basically monitor the inmates, really what it was. But the crazy thing about that was they started learning the inmates, start think, it's really deciding, say, okay, this inmate might tip
Picking
this
up
and
their
tip that or what have
tendencies.
you. It was actually
Yeah.
knowing what they're going to do before they even do it.
Right.
So again, I
Yeah.
didn't hear
Yeah.
you.
I
You talking
said
to me? I
picking
didn't
up
hear
their
you.
tendencies.
Yeah, and they had, you always had breakouts, um, before that. But when they put this AI system in, they didn't have none of that. So imagine this. Imagine you done got all your information out there. AI is connected all over the place. Now this thing knows everything about you. You're probably going to know what you're thinking in your next move. You know, and I think that I think Buffalo, you probably remember this conversation with our brother-in-law and you. We had a conversation years ago that I said at some point I can see that, I can see police departments putting up antennas or something to pick up on people's uh, somewhat behaviors in a sense and be able to hit off situations
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
they happen.
Yeah.
Now imagine AI has that. You know, I said that was about 6, 7 years ago. Now add that to AI into that. Think about that. Think about
Right.
all your information, every person you talked to, every person you emailed, and all that stuff. Now all that AI knows all of that about you, and now can possibly call up one of your family members, and that family member think it's you, and have a whole conversation with you. They don't even realize that it ain't even you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where you need to start thinking about what you do on these PCs, on these phones, all of this, and what you put out here on Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, all that stuff, great. We all use it, but we're going to have to take a few steps back as for what we put out here. You know, so the reality of it is it's just serious. It's getting to that point where when you think about the creators, a lot of this stuff that don't know everything about this, what do you think is going to happen? You got, I never forget, CBS News had the CEO, CEO on CBS News, and one of the question was asked, so why did you put this out here and you didn't know everything about it? And the thing he said, well, we don't know everything about the brain. That ain't the same. That's not the same. You
Right.
put some out here for everybody to use that at some point could affect other people's lives negatively. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of positives with it, you know? And the crazy thing about this kind of is not funny, but we have watched movies over the years where computers taking over the world. Now you see movies about AI taking over the world. Now you combine both of those things now, you know?
Right. So
And
how far you think we away from having a everybody having a robot in their house? How far
uh,
away you think we are?
I think about 10 years from now. If not, I give it about 8 to 10 years. Because when you think about Alexa, for example. Oh, I don't want to wake mine up. But
She already listening.
so you think about that. I mean, we
Right.
got, let me back up here too. When you think about door locks, when you think about garage door openers that you can use by voice, I can tell mine to lift it up and down. Same thing about my door cameras on. You can do all that by voice, and you can do it from your phone. You ain't even home. I can have my spotlights up front cut on by voice, and I'm not even home. Just use my phone. You know what I
Right.
mean? So imagine having AI do that. And so as for how soon, I'll probably say 8 years. It's going to be quite interesting. I hope I'm around to see all that. But at the same time, man, it's kind of a little scary. For me, it was exciting to see a lot of this. But then I start seeing how some of these people are using this stuff, gotten customers, got their money stolen, from a lot of this stuff. Now it just gotten on the way, and I'm seeing already people affected with it, being affected by the way it's been handled and their money being stolen from some of these things. Like they thinking they're talking to a real customer, a real company, and they're not. They giving this person the credit card number and all this stuff to pay for something, and don't even realize that that is not a real individual. And I just said that last year, not to think, before the year was out, I actually had a person going through that. That was less than a year ago. So
Right.
the thing of it is that I think about 8 to 10 years.
8 to 10
Um,
years.
yeah, I mean before that.
Okay.
And let me back up here. Let me back up. Where we
Hold on
already
just a
have.
second, Jim. Let me run the Buffaloes.
Okay.
Shout out to Regina Michelle. Thank you for the super chat. Happy New Year as well. And I seen, I think it was Char talking about the video from the snow. Yeah, I saw that one as well. I was like, Regina finna hurt herself out there. But yeah, I see you was having fun with it. Thank you for the super chat. Let me run the Buffaloes for you.
Super chat received.
Appreciate it, Regina. Regina Michelle. So, one last question. I don't see any more questions in the chat. One last question was, do you know of maybe one or two things that we can use towards our advantage in the resale business?
Well, one of the things you remember me saying the last time I was here, and what has changed a little, I shouldn't say changed. You just heard me spoke of earlier that Google and a few other retailers now are using AI to try to better their sales. And I think the last conversation we had when I was on the show is that you probably want to take time now to look for those items or those software that's out there could actually help you in the AI field. Because really, when you think about it, before you know it, every retailer and probably every reseller at some point will use some type of AI to better their sales. And so one of the things is this: give you some idea of what one of the retailers or how they're using it. They actually putting it out. The AI is going out there and finding out the things that people want in those areas. So imagine if you in Memphis, Tennessee, just using an example, and you're a reseller and you're using AI to find out what things in that particular area you live in, or just across the United States, wherever, to find out what people are looking for the most, and you got as a reseller trying to find that to resell it. And
Right.
that's how the AI is slowly being used now by the big guys.
Yeah.
So for the smaller guys, they need to get on it now because even the big retailers just starting. So by you being a reseller and getting this game started, imagine a year, 2 years from now. That changes the game when you really think about it. When you don't have to, you already know what people want in certain areas. Now,
I speaking of that, I used a program similar to what you're saying, but I just did the trial period on it because it was just too expensive.
gotcha.
I know in a couple of years it's probably going to come down or
Yeah,
something cheaper is going to replace it.
right.
But I use something like that, and you know, basically it was, I think it was 725 for the year.
Okay.
But they did have like a 15-day trial with it. I did it for 15 days. It's an excellent program. It's just too expensive.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the thing of it, if it's working like that, yeah, it's quite expensive. The question is it really help if it helping your business? Then you might have to bite the bullet. You know how the management thing go business wise, dollars wise.
Right,
But okay, that is the game. That's the future. Period.
right,
And the sooner resellers get on the game of it, the ones that get started with this are going to be the ones that are going to get the biggest rewards, and because they done started and they so far ahead of the people that hadn't used and they just started. So imagine you starting it now, then like a lot of people, a year from now, 6 months from now trying to use it, you already hit the game, you know.
Right.
So, but that's it. And I know right now it's probably a lot of that stuff is high, but that's the reason why you got to keep looking to see who else out there that has it.
Right.
That's something that you might want to, try to do like I do with certain things that's going out there every morning on the web and just seeing what's out there in this particular area. Just like in my case, helping customers try to save money on computers and TVs and that type stuff. So I'm looking at the whole thing of open box and things like that, trying to help customers save money.
Right.
Uh, so the same thing with that, you're gonna have to just, every day just get at it to see who has something out there that's less pricey,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
without question, that is the future.
Yeah. And I
That's-
noticed too, like some of the big whale sharks. I call Jack in here, Jack Treasure. He's one of the whale sharks. Those type people that they are constantly on it every day. Every day they're looking for a deal. To make big major moves. So I'm always looking for people like that that I can kind of take a little bit from their blueprint to add to mine, put it
yeah.
in my tool belt as well. Oh, you got one other question. We're gonna let this be the last question for the night. D Middleman, for everyone in the chat, D Middleman has family emergency. That's why he's not here tonight. And he posed the question: what is the best protection for your information on the laptop?
Oh man, you know what? That's a good one because I was in a. Let me back up here. Okay. Um, there are a lot of people go out here and get all these different virus programs and spend all this money. Okay. My all my units, 1, 2, 3, I got 5 units in here. None of them have any virus programs because basically don't need it. It's already built into the system. Okay. It's been plenty of times I've gone out there, taking care of viruses, malware systems, cleanup systems, what have you. And they have a virus program or a malware program on their system that's supposed to keep them safe and supposed to stop all that. But let me have you understand something. There's nothing out there going to stop everything. If you see that CBS is getting hacked, you see that the Pentagon having issues. What makes you think that you can buy something for $49 or $60 is going to keep you more safer than what they guys got? I mean, that's the reality, you know. So, the question is that, you know, what keeps you safe? I just think that if you pay close attention to the way the behavior of your computer, I think you can resolve or minimize some of the problems out there that could happen with your computer. A lot of times people just ignore stuff or try to work past it and know it got a problem. To see the computer start to doing slowing down. So, for me, for example, once I notice something's not quite right, I'm on my systems all the time. You know? So the minute I notice something, I'm on it right then. I don't wait weeks or months now trying to figure out what it is. Because my computer is no different than y'all guys. I might have a lot more software doing all this different stuff, but still yet I take the necessary time because one, I do not want to have the same problem I'm going out. you know. So my strongest advice is that you pay more attention because I don't want to call out any names of particular programs, but um, there are various programs people spending money on. The FCC stepped in, it might have been October, it might have been possibly September, uh, warning these virus programs about all these things they're having people to buy, where the elderly people buying the stuff, basically just wasting their money.
Right.
And so, in my opinion, and just mine, probably a lot of people feel the way I do, and a lot of people probably don't. But from my experience, and this I'm just telling you from my experience, um, I think if you feel like you want to buy a virus program, I'm not going to knock you from doing that. But from my personal experience, I think it's just personally a waste of money. I think you use what's in the system, do your defragmentation check this. Now you might need cleanup software, do a lot better, just clean the system up, uh, picking in the areas that items that should not be there, that prevent certain things. Using a VPN is one of those things that's helpful. Also using a IP address changer, which is helpful as well. So a VPN is great. You might not be able to get into your banks or what have you with it on it, but you then just cut it off. But if there's one thing I'll probably tell you, a VPN will probably be one of the better things for trying to keep you protected. But understand there's nothing out there that's going to keep you 100% safe, period. If somebody got something out there that's 100%, tell that to office, tell that to Home Depot, tell that to CVS, tell that with the Pentagon. Those guys had problems. Right here, your pipeline. Mattel that makes Barbie. So tell those guys that been hacked and so if you got something out there that says 100%, tell these guys because those guys paid out tons of money to try to get their data back. Even Atlanta back here some years ago.
I said that was the last question, but I got one more question. So just say hypothetically, somebody in the chat or myself or whoever, we're working on a computer and then on the laptop and we see something strange come across the screen, right? So we know it's not normal. So it's a possibility that your laptop, has been hacked.
Could be.
So what is the first thing you should do if you discover or you even think your laptop been hacked?
First of all, shut the browser down because there's a very good chance that it could be a fake. And most of the time it's coming up through the browser anyway. That's one of the first things. So there's been a fake out there for years that pops up on your computer says, don't shut your computer off. Your computer's a bit affected. Call this phone number.
Yeah.
It's the browsers where the issue is. You can get matter of fact, CClean is totally free. What's the other program? Got us escapes at the moment. But CClean is one of them that's been around for quite a few years. Works pretty well. Wise 365 is another one. They are both. You got trials are free. The trick behind that, you can load it on, and then once you done you clean. I personally just take it off. Just when I need to use it, I just reinstall it, just keep it on the computer file-wise, and just install it when I need. So, but the first thing you want to shut your browser down because 99% of the time is basically where it came up there. So those programs do pretty good as for cleaning up certain areas of your system, and also as for one of the things I also do is do a check this and that fragmentation at least about every 2 weeks to keep the system running like it's supposed to. But the one thing too is not a bad thing to do if you're installing software or uninstalling software. What it was intended to do, to ask for the fragmentation and check this, really just to a point where you're really supposed to do it every time you install software and every time you take it off. But nobody does that, but I do. So because I do not want the same problems I'm out here fixing, so that's the basically where I handle it. The minute I see something, shut your browser down.
Do you turn it off?
I don't turn it off. I just use once I shut the browser down, I use that piece of software to do a clean. And 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it finds it. Then once I do that, I basically software I restart the computer and then I uninstall it.
Right.
Now, if you want to buy, if you just want to buy it where you say I don't want to do a trial, I just want to buy it, and that's fine. You know what I mean? But those are the things you want to wind up doing. And keep in mind, because we talked about AI, that is just to a point. You're just going to have to take extra steps, like I just spoke of, to do that. You can buy all the virus programs you want, but there's none out there's going to be 100% period. And I personally think it's just a waste of money. I done seen people use Norton. I done seen people use McAfee and a whole list of others. And I'm out there for that same reason. They got that software on the system that's supposed to be clearing viruses and malware. It doesn't. So, for example, there was this is 2025. So this happened in 2019, and 6 years ago. Here it is that at this particular time, go out there, ran my software and picked up a few things. And this particular software they done paid for the last 3 years. And they said, well, why I didn't pick it up? Come to find out that on this particular day, that program did not do it. Usually when you start your computer up, it make the software you got in your system, meaning your virus program, usually communicates to the server, to whoever that company is that you have, download the latest signatures or scripture, whatever you want to call them, and where you save, downloads to your computer so your computer know what to protect you against. Now, this particular day that it wasn't working. So it wasn't catching anything. The things that was supposed to be downloaded wasn't. It wasn't updated. You know, you can't pull off anything off their server if they didn't update it on their server for your system
Right.
to
Right.
download. So, the thing of it is that I was totally shocked to find that out. Like, man, and that was I was blown away because that's something I have never seen.
Right.
So the reality of it is if you follow those steps, you should be good. And it's just something I do as a routine. Because once again, to try to avoid some of the issues that people have out here. But the thing is that, don't waste money, and it's just really to a point where, billions of dollars have been made off this whole security thing because it's everybody's scared. People sit out here and spend $150. They feel like it just makes them feel good. They just feel like they're going to be safe. And then the high percentage of it, no, it's not. They
Right.
didn't got your money, and
So,
you
so like middleman says, it's just a bunch of junk.
really what it is. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
There's some people who disagree, but I'm going on experience of, and let's be honest. I probably have honestly seen, if I had to look at my records, I done probably seen quite a few thousand people over the last 14 years, and, I can tell you point blank, a lot of it is just garbage.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
Right.
But you can't tell a customer that because there's some customers that, okay, Jim, I hear what you're saying, but I just want something on
Yeah,
the
they
other.
want that false sense of security.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
back out there again. So I'm like, well,
Yeah.
if you want to continue to pay me, to come out, and I done told you what you need to do, you ignore me. So hey, what can I say? Hey,
Right.
you want to
Right.
continue to pay me, I come out and get paid. So that's all it is. So,
Right.
but to be serious about it, just pay close attention to the behavior of your system because the reality is this: if you've been on your computer long enough, you can know when something's not quite right. you know. And my my company is Computer Geeks of Georgia. If I help a lot of people over the phone because it's not always we all got to get paid, but it's not always about dollars. I can honestly tell you I probably help probably anywhere from 7 to maybe 8 people, maybe a little bit more down in a week that called me up to something simple. Instead of me driving out there, yeah, I can make the money for it, but it doesn't feel good in a sense where something simple I can just take care of in 5 minutes instead of me driving
Right.
30 miles. Don't get me wrong, the pay is great, but at the same time, I just kind of I just don't do that.
Right.
You know,
So Jim, we're gonna get ready to do the giveaways to close out because I mean you got so much information, man. We would need you on for 2 hours. But go ahead and tell people how they can find you,
okay.
your business and stuff like that.
My site is Computer Geeks in Georgia. Of course, I'm in the Atlanta area. I'm pretty much all over the place. Probably about everybody got about 50-mile range. But there are a lot of customers I got outside that 50-mile range. But if you want to, my number my business number 404-295-2020, which is Computer Geeks in Georgia. And also you want to go to that site. We also have This Week in Technology. So a lot of things I put up just for people to to read through and see some of the scams and some of the information that's out there that they didn't probably know was out there. So
Are you on Instagram?
yeah, I'm on Instagram and also on Twitter as well, and basically on all the platforms basically.
At
So yeah,
Computer Geek of
yeah,
Georgia?
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
So hit me up if you have any questions. I don't mind helping. I try to help it, without question. I love what I do, but most important, I love helping people and just clearing the facts of what it really is.
Right. Right. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to do the giveaway. I want to give a shout out to G Molden. That's my sister, big sister. Shout out to Clay Closet. Appreciate you coming out, Clay, and seeing you in a minute. Shout out to Jack Treasure. Appreciate you, Jack, for coming through. Shout out to Regina Michelle. If you all not following Regina Michelle, she's putting out great content on YouTube. Make sure you check out her channel. And Picking in the Hood. What's going on, Big K? We got to get you on the show, man, when you're free. Bring you back, let you come in here with all that energy. So let's get into it. This is the last segment of the show. We're going to do a giveaway. I got 2 items I'm going to give away tonight. First up, it's going to be the Captain America versus Thanos This is the item, brand new in the box. Go ahead. If you're interested in this, go ahead and drop your number in the chat. 1 through 20, 1 through 25. 1 through 25. If you're interested in that item, 1 through 25. All right. And yeah, that's the first item. I got 2 items I'm going to give away. So drop your number. Let's get through this pretty quickly. 1 through 25.
Hey man, I ain't say nothing, man, but I forgot, man, Macy's going out of business too. So y'all be looking out for that, man. And if y'all got a Macy's around y'all, go check them out, man, and see if y'all can get some deals out of there.
Yeah, we are going to compile a list for the next week's show because there's quite a few stores going out of business.
Yeah.
I mean, not completely, but they're shutting down some stores.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and drop your number. I'm getting ready to close this one out. All right. All right. It's closed out. So this is the number. Can y'all see that? The number is 14. 14. I hope the audience can see it. 14. 14. All right. Let's see.
Somebody got 16. I see that.
14. Oh, I see. Nana Tank. Nana Tank got 14.
Oh, okay.
Nana Tank, 14. Congratulations, Nana.
Good win.
Nana, send me your info on my Instagram account. I know I got it in my pirate ship, but just send it to me so I can get this mailed out. Everybody else that I owe an item to, your item has been shipped. So you should get it this week. Cajun Roots, Justin, Char F, Chris, D Middleman, Kev, I just got your address today, so I'll get your stuff mailed out tomorrow. But that's cover everybody that's supposed to get an item from me. And Melinda, your item is coming as well. The AEW wrestling figure. All right. So let's see. Kevin F. What's going on, Kev? Yeah, Big Lot, man. Yeah, they closed in my area. Pretty much the stores that are going to close down, they already closed. They closed back in November in Atlanta. Let's see. All right, so this is next up. Next up is Monster High Frankie Stein. All right. If you're interested in this item, go ahead and drop your number in the chat from 1 to 25. 1 to 25 for Frankie Stein. 1 to 25. Yeah, I heard about that too, Marie. Some of the stores, I think the middleman said that they halt the bankruptcy. Somebody bought them out. So yeah, so they may be opening back up. I don't know. 1 to 25. 1 to 25. And only drop one number, y'all. One number. We're only gonna go with your first number. Let's see. All right, Nana, I got you. Oh, y'all in Florida now? Okay. I know the last time I shipped, you was up in PA, so y'all back down in Florida. All right, I got you. Look at that middleman trying to sneak in there. All right, so get ready to close this one out. All right, so we're only gonna go with your first number now. Let's see. So here's the number. The number is 10. 10.
Marie.
All right. So
Marie got
Jay
10.
with 3, Justin with 3, Nana
Marie
J
got 10.
with 3, Nita J with 3,
Maria got
Kevin with
10.
8. You see the numbers?
Maria got 10.
Marie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Marie dropped the number 3 times, and he'll look like.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She took 9, 10. Yeah.
8.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, so we're gonna roll with it tonight, but moving forward, y'all, just drop the number 1 time. Keep the game on an even playing field. I don't have anything else to try to eliminate, so we're just gonna go with the numbers. But moving forward, once you drop that number, that's it. Once I see your first number, that's the number we're gonna go with moving forward. So congratulations to Marie. I got your address to you with your husband, and I get this shipped out to you tomorrow. Oh, somebody was sniping your number. Okay, no problem. Let's see. All right, so okay. You retracted the other numbers. I got you. All right, Marie, we'll get that mailed out to you tomorrow for sure. I got some items I got to ship out for Amazon and Walmart, so I'll get y'all stuff shipped. Get everybody's stuff gone. Get it off the table. Yeah, exactly. All right. Appreciate it, Jack. All right, so we get ready to close this one out. Jim, I just want to let you know, man, on behalf of Defend the Hustle, we are definitely grateful to have you on the show. Every time you come on this show, man, you bring us new information. And I know that sometimes you talk over our head because IT is fluid, it's always changing. And I understand that, but I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come on here and educate us about things to come and what's actually going on right now. I definitely was paying attention, and I got a lot of information from this. And we want to definitely, because you say pretty much that stuff changes so fast, like every 6 months it's something new. So if at all possible, want to try to bring you back towards the summertime. So that'll be about 6 months, 7 months. See what will change, see what type of, new things that you can kind of educate us on and have us to look out for.
You got it, man. Well, I appreciate you having me on the show, man. I love the show, man. So, and I thank you for having me out, man. So definitely. And
yes, sir.
hey,
man, you becoming a permanent fixture of Defend the Hustle, bro.
Hey, maybe in 6 months I might be a reseller, man.
Hey, man, jump on it, man.
Hey, I got to talk to the man upstairs, God, man, and claim it, man. So we'll see what's happening in the next 6 months, man.
That reseller train is huge, man. Got enough room for everybody, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna have to take the advice I gave you about the AI thing on the reseller bit, man. I might have to go ahead and get it there and show you how it's done, man.
Hey, man, hey. Trust me, if you get out there and use those tools that you've been talking about, I'll be over there knocking on the door. Hey, Jim, let me in, man.
hey, man. You know what, man? Seeing y'all guys, man. Y'all guys, like I said, y'all got me motivated. That's what that's what doing the Best Buy, open box thing. Y'all guys really, I got to give y'all guys credit because really it was y'all guys that got me started thinking about that and what was out there possibly. Because I honestly, didn't really know to a point. But when I got there, man, and start, helping a lot of customers out, saving, 300 here, 500 here, and like that Mac, and as a matter of fact, even the HP system that was normally $1,400, they paid, I think it was $726 for it. So, y'all guys gave me that, ammunition in reference to the resale and say, hey, you know what? How can I tie some of this in to help some customers? And what y'all did, man, is basically put on my mind to go ahead and try to find an avenue to save people money. And so far it's been working in that sense, man.
Right. All right.
So I thank y'all guys for that, because without that, man, without y'all putting that in my head, it would never happen, man.
Right. Chris, you got something?
God bless everybody. Have a blessed week, y'all.
All right. to the chat, I want to let you all know that appreciate you all coming out, spending your Sunday with us. One thing we try to do here is educate and be transparent. So that is not going to change moving forward in 2025. This is our 5th season, and hopefully you all continue to ride with us on this 2025 train. Appreciate you all. Buffalo Picker, defend the hustle. See you all next week.